Imagine throwing a baseball 104 miles per hour. That was the hardest pitch thrown this season. In fact, in that same inning in San Diego, Ryan Helsley threw 17 fastballs. His slowest pitch was 99. Tonight, we talk shop with the Cardinals closer. Now, keep in mind, the interview was conducted just before he threw it 104. Did you ever imagine when you're a Division II pitcher in the state of Oklahoma that one day you'd be a Major League All-Star? Sometimes guys can envision success. Did you envision this?
I think I dreamt of it as a little kid, but I didn't really think it was a possibility until going into my sophomore year and had a lot more scouts coming around. I started throwing a little harder, but as far as thinking I would become an All-Star, I don't know if I saw that in my future. I try to just focus one day at a time and just put one foot in front of the other.
How about your Indian heritage and how proud you are of that, and what kind of role does it have in your life and career?
Yeah, I'm very proud of that. Where I come from, it's who I am. Every offseason I try to get back to the community and just be more involved and just be around those kids, because I grew up there and went to the same schools as those kids, and just trying to be someone and they can look up to and realize they can accomplish their goals and dreams too.
So we're in San Diego where Trevor Hoffman was the closer, Hell's Bells was his theme. How do you like it for you?
I think it's really cool. I'd never really watched baseball growing up. Had no idea that was his song or anything like that, and but it's been cool to use that song and have the fans, get excited.
How do you go from like 90 miles an hour to like 98, 99? Is it long tossing? Is it weightlifting? Take me through it.
I think just a combination of everything and understanding how to be a better pitcher and just maturing and really just getting better at my craft. I went into college and never really pitched, and I've been pitching 8 years now, 9 years, and just tried to continuously get better.
Jason Isringhausen's role in your success?
Yeah, when I first came into spring training, my first year in 2016, I didn't really have much of an off-speed pitch. Was able to get by with fastballs, and D2 and where I went to school, and he was pretty pivotal for me to learn from and just kind of pick his mind. And back then, he was kind of like a rover throughout the minor leagues. Would come throughout the season sporadically, kind of drop in and watch us throw here and there and give us some tips and stuff. So he was a big help for me.
I want to ask you about competition and how much you live for it and love it, because it seems like you want to be out there in the ninth inning.
For sure, it's a lot of fun. It's my first full season, as a closer, and not even really full season, like half a season, and it's been a lot of fun, to go out there in the ninth. I try to look at every inning as the same. They're all 3 outs. The first inning, you can lose the game in the first and lose it in the ninth. So I think anytime you're out there, you're just trying to get 3 outs and help the team win.
What does it mean to arrive on the center stage and to live out a dream?
Right, yeah. It was always a dream of mine growing up, and just thank God every day when I wake up, for blessing me with this opportunity and allowing me to play this game. I just try to focus one day at a time on, what's at hand and not look too far ahead, and just really enjoy the moment and be present.
Final thought. Do you ever peek at the radar gun?
Yeah, for sure. You want to know how stuff's coming out that day and, how your off speed is and things like that and how your effort levels and stuff like that, and so you can help engage it.
But do you hide it when you're looking up, or?
I honestly don't know. I'm in the moment, so I really don't know what I'm doing. So.
And the hardest you've ever thrown a baseball is?
103.4 or something, I think.
Anything more? Can you get higher than that?
I have no idea. I'm honestly not really trying to see how hard I can throw. Just out there pitching and competing, and sometimes it just comes out a little harder than the others.